In this module, we'll talk about easing up and slowing down and making peace with the past. We're listening in. We're looking to see who we are and how we treat ourselves. We see that, yes, we can change the way we think about ourselves. What if we find ourselves thinking, I take myself way too seriously? It's amazing to think that we can change that thought too. We can say, I'm learning to laugh at myself. It's amazing how a little awareness can change how we perceive ourselves and how much more enjoyable life could be when we do that. I make the same mistakes I've always made. They're mine. Like the color of my hair and the size of my feet. They're part of who I am, and I watch myself with gentle amusement most of the time. When I make a mistake more often than I expect, I have the opportunity to enjoy myself as I am. Laughing at myself and at life's challenges has lightened the load I put on myself. Many of us have the habit of pressing forward on life. Our culture seems to demand it of us. Sometimes we just feel overwhelmed. A story from me. I was feeling overwhelmed and was spouting off to a friend about it. I came up for breath and she said, just fall back half a step inside yourself. Out of my mouth came, I can't do that. But even as I was saying it, I felt something inside. I was falling back half a step just as she suggested. Amazing. So when life feels like it's too much, we can fall back half a step inside ourselves. Just falling back, we may find a place of peace, a moment, and life is made up of moments when we can rest and find our center again. If we've been pushing on life and are exhausted, we can rest. And we can look and ask ourselves how we want to live. We can begin the practice of living slowly. Living life slowly is an art. It's a joy to live a leisurely life, and we can offer this to ourselves. Because we are as much a part of nature as a tree is, we can relax and let ourselves grow at the pace nature intends for us. When we consciously live in process, honoring the flow of nature in our lives, we can relax while nature works within us to create the beautiful person we are becoming. We cooperate with our growth by accepting life as it is at the moment. We are always moving forward and toward what we will inevitably and happily be. Yet we grow slowly as a tree does, but always at just the right pace. Nothing has to be changed right away. There is no hurry. Nature works in an orderly, gracious manner. The seed goes in the ground. It rains. The sun shines. In its own time, the seed sprouts. It sends down roots and pushes up to the sunlight. It is the same with us. If we hold the loving intention to claim our lives, magic will happen. Here's another thought that helped me be gentle with myself. Walking 20 miles into the woods happens so gradually we barely realize how far we've walked. We suddenly realize where we are and we want to be out. There's no way to be instantly out of the woods. We have to walk the 20 miles back. What I want to suggest, however, is that the moment we take that first step back toward the sunlight, our spirits lift and we feel lighter. The things we love draw us gently and with kindness to themselves. We don't have to make ourselves do them. Perhaps we do best with some shape in our days. We're all different, so some of us will set firm goals and others will have a more fluid way of crafting a day. I like to have a plan, but I make goals that have give built right in. I say, I swim every day. Sometimes I don't get in the water. Okay, but my intention is clear. I swim every day. Loving ourselves, we set a gentle pace for our lives. Life is not meant to be a struggle. We fill our cup every day. We give ourselves a break when we need it. The result may be a quiet happiness. We may find ourselves asking, can this be me? And still, everything is always changing. Moments of balance occur naturally in life, but balance is ephemeral. Change is the one thing we can count on, so we pay attention to the rising and falling of ease in our lives. It may be helpful to remember to leave spaciousness for relaxing, for sleep, for meditation, for some time doing absolutely nothing. How many people are reluctant to go on vacation because their projects won't move forward? They're often surprised when they return to work to find that they experience greater success than ever. The aha phenomenon says that when we take our minds off our projects and let them rest while we play, we often experience the intuitive flash which takes us to the next level of our work. I believe there is a source of wisdom within each of us. When we rest in ourselves and experience silence within and then act, our action brings the most fruit. As we walk this path, we may discover that quiet joy seeps into the crevices of our lives, and we are changing. Contentment is a quiet experience which may surprise us, no matter how long we've been moving in the direction of self-love. Like a tree deeply rooted, we become grounded in our inner being. We sway with the wind. We are flexible precisely because we are stable. When something new comes, we see if it's for us and integrate that which serves us. The rest we leave, and in this way we grow. We are constantly changing, but always in the direction of wholeness. In every life, there are times when the unexpected happens and life changes dramatically in an instant. We've been walking down a road and suddenly we hit a roadblock. We're at a time of new beginnings. It's not surprising that we may feel doubt and fear at these times. There's only one thing to do at such times: connect more deeply with our inner truth and whatever we have come to see as our higher power. When we see things as they are, the next thing will present itself in time. Our external lives may be unsettled, and we can be gentle with ourselves. This is a time to take even better care of ourselves than usual. If we see this time as an opportunity, we will not only weather the stormy time of change, but thrive as a result of it. We can walk through anything with grace if we keep our focus on the peace of heart and mind, which are becoming our natural way of being in the world. Now let's look more deeply at the past and see how we can make peace with it. On life's journey, as I've said, we have all been hurt. I don't know why this happens, yet listening to many, many people tell their stories, I've heard that having been wounded, especially in childhood, is universal. When we wake up to the fact that we are responsible for filling ourselves with love, we may run into a cache of unhealed hurt from the past. Please, may we be kind and tender with ourselves, and may we also feel heartened. I believe that within ourselves we each have the resources we need to heal the wounds of the past and create a life we love. I also believe that we are each responsible for our own healing. Responsibility is not a heavy burden, as is so often thought. It just means we have the ability to respond. The rewards of taking responsibility for ourselves are great. We won't want to miss them, for if we don't do what it takes to heal, we will continue to carry our wounds, and they will color everything we do in our lives. To live freely and lovingly, we have to attend to our healing. Sadly, there seems to be a great epidemic sweeping through the world today, and as I see it, has three aspects. The first aspect of the epidemic is fatigue. We must be rested to live a full life, yet how many of us each day in the Western world wake up rested and in joyful anticipation of the new day? The second aspect is anger, perhaps the most common cover for our feelings of hurt and fear. And third is depression, often described as anger turned inward. It has us plunging our feelings down until we become numb. May we give ourselves a moment of spaciousness to see if and in what guise this epidemic is affecting our lives. One of the most important things we can do to live in balance is to move from fatigued to rested. We may say, I am deeply tired, but oh well, it's the plight of the modern world. Everyone I know is tired. That may be so, and it may also be the very reason we will insist on taking care of ourselves to see that we get more rest. We're the only ones who can put ourselves to bed. We can listen to and honor our bodies. Let's give ourselves the rejuvenating rest our bodies need at night. And in addition to a good night's rest, it is natural that during the day our energy will flag. Inserting small rests into the day will help us maintain our clear connection to ourselves and our lives throughout the day. Personally, I find that being rested is the single most important thing I do to maintain emotional stability. When I'm tired, I start to doubt myself and feel easily discouraged. Having looked deeply into myself and how fatigue has played a part in my times of anger and depression, and also having walked with so many people through this part of their journey, I suspect the other two aspects of the great epidemic, anger and depression, often hinge on the overriding fatigue of so many of us. Now let's think about anger, something that we have perhaps come to abhor and fear, often due to a household where we grew up, where perhaps anger wasn't allowed or only one person was allowed to express anger. As I look at it, anger has been misunderstood. Anger arises when we experience hurt and don't address its cause. If we have been hurt by a cruel remark or abuse of any kind and feel we can do nothing, it is not uncommon for us to cover over the hurt with anger. If we feel angry, we can investigate to see the hurt that's under it. If we are used to suppressing our anger, it may take some consistent looking to see where the anger comes from. We can use the practice of staying with our feelings to help us see the hurt under the anger. As we stay with the feelings in the body, we may find an image or a memory coming up that provides a hint as to what is under the anger. As the feelings flow through and we see more clearly where the original hurt comes from, mirabile dictu, miracle of miracles, will be healing a little of that hurt. Of course, let me be perfectly clear. If we're in an abusive situation where we are being hurt over and over, anger is our friend, a motivator to start us moving out and away from hurtful circumstances. Instead of covering our hurt with anger, we may become depressed. If we push our feelings down deep enough, we become numb and feel nothing. Depression is the mind's way of nursing deep wounds that have been ignored for a long time. Here are some of the circumstances I've seen leading to feeling depressed. If we refuse to let our true nature shine and express itself, we become depressed. If we live the way we think we're supposed to, rather than the way we want to, we become depressed. As we begin to honor ourselves, listen to our bodies and hearts, and love ourselves into our own dear life, we can heal from depression as well as the hidden hurt that lies under it. Feeling depressed is often a way for our true nature to call us back to ourselves. The journey home to ourselves may take time, and this is the perfect time to begin. This little phrase comes to mind when I'm feeling down. Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings while the dawn is still dark. Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings while the dawn is still dark. Each of us is glorious. The journey back to the light is worth every step. It's not surprising for us to shy away from our wounds and even pretend we don't have any. We may be afraid we'll die if we touch the pain. But most of the couples I work with find that when they do face the pain, the opposite turns out to be true. As we heal, we begin to really live. Here is a practice. I have a healing journey. There are many ways to heal. This is only one. First, let's look inside, see the hurt and name it. If it's abuse, abandonment, or neglect, we say so. Next, we tell the story in our journals to a compassionate friend or a good therapist. We talk about how we feel and how our lives have been affected by the hurt. Then we grieve the deep sadness of the hurt. We stay with our feelings. We ride them like a wave and heal even a little at a time. We may repeat this step over and over again until we feel free. Finally, since the hurt may have been old and we've developed habitual ways of thinking and talking about it, we pay attention to our thoughts. So even if the wound is healed, we don't act as if it's still active. We let time take time. We ask our higher power or higher self to help us. We might say, "Please show me what I need to see today." We don't need to see more than today. We don't give up, because from the first step in the direction of being out of that forest, that first inkling that the pain is healing even a little bit at a time, we feel some relief, and it's easy to keep going. Even in the midst of healing, we can live happily when we know we are on the journey. And may I say, with all tenderness, that if any of us is dealing with deep depression, certainly our doctor will give us any additional support we need. I trust that following the practices and ideas presented here will bring the gifts offered as well. I love words. The word courage comes from the French le coeur, which means heart. When we begin this journey and keep going, we are coming home to our courage, to our own hearts. We can rest assured that lives of dignity, strength, and beauty are waiting for us just behind the pain. In the next module, we'll learn how we can rewrite the script of our lives to be current with how we are expanding and nestling into a more loving and nurturing us.